let's start. एक मिनट रुकिएगा. Question number 23. An excess of chlorine was bubbled into 100 cm cube of hot 6.0 mole per dm cube sodium hydroxide. How many moles of sodium chloride would be produced in the reaction? So if you recall this reaction, whenever a hot concentrated conditions are given, it's a 6 mole per dm cube and it's a hot, so it means it's hot concentrated, right? And in hot and concentrated conditions, if you recall this reaction, when chlorine reacts with sodium chloride, sorry, sodium hydroxide, under these conditions, the product are sodium chloride, sodium chlorate 5, NaClO3, and water, right? And yes, Shazre, we can find the moles in by that formula, but we can only find the moles of sodium hydroxide, and they are asking about sodium chloride. Okay. Okay. So if you will balance this equation, uh, you will find, let me show you how to balance it. That chlorine is over 0 over here. Here chlorine have a +1 charge and here chlorine have a +5 charge. So one chlorine is having a change in oxidation number of +5 and the other chlorine have a change in oxidation number of -1. So we have to make it times 5. So 5 chlorine from, sorry, it's -1 from reduction and one chlorine over here. So 5 plus 1 makes it 6. So it means here we must have a 6 chlorines. So we will mark 3 over here. Is it understandable to everyone? And just give me a minute, please. Okay. So then we have to mark 3 chlorines over here. ठीक है, तो 3 क्लोरीन्स यहाँ पे होंगे. अब अगर 3 क्लोरीन्स यहाँ पर होंगे और हम बैलेंस करें जिस तरह we have balanced this by 5, so we have to put 5 over here and the coefficient of NaClO3 remains 1. ठीक है. Now it makes 5 and 1, 6 sodium. So we will place 6 over here. And if we make this 6, so this oxygen also becomes 6. And here we have a 3 oxygens. So we will put 3 over here to balance the oxygen. So 3 plus 3 will get us 6 over here, and 3 times 2. So we have a 6 hydrogen over here and we have a 6 hydrogen over here. So the equation is balanced now. ये बात यहाँ तक clear है sir सबको? Yes, in a redox equation, uh, we have to balance the equation by oxidation numbers only. Okay. Okay. I am repeating again. And if anybody have any doubt, kindly ask it again. See, we have a chlorine, and that chlorine is reacting with hot concentrated sodium hydroxide. And in case of hot concentrated sodium hydroxide, sodium chloride is formed. And besides sodium chloride, we will get NaClO3 as well, sodium chlorate 5 and H2O. जी, यहाँ तक clear है सबको? Okay. Now, if we look here, we have a 2 chlorine atoms. Both have a 0 oxidation number over here, right? And here this chlorine have a -1 oxidation number and this chlorine have a +5 oxidation number. So if we observe, out of these 2 chlorine, 1 chlorine is changing from 0 to -1, which means the change is -1 over here. And the other chlorine is changing from 0 to +5, which means the change is of +5 over here. Is this part is understandable to everyone? Now, here it shows that there is a 1 chlorine atom, and that 1 chlorine atom is losing 5 electrons. And here 1 chlorine atom gain 1 electron. So if 5 electrons are lost, then there must be a 5 electrons that must be gained. So for that purpose, I have to multiply this change with 5. If I multiply this change with 5, so I have to place the coefficient 5 over here in the product, and on the reactant side both chlorines are combined. So 5 chlorines from here and 1 chlorine from here gives us 6 chlorine atoms. So if there are 6 chlorine atoms on the reactant side, so we have to put 3 over here as a coefficient to make it 6. And out of these 6 chlorine atoms, only 1 chlorine atom undergo oxidation and it loses 5 electrons, and 5 chlorine atoms undergo reduction and gain 1 electron. Now, is it understandable to everyone? You need to remember that in any redox reaction, if it is balanced, then the uh, number of electron lost and the number of electron gains must be equal. Okay. Now, after balancing this, you have to balance the other atoms. So now look over here. We have a 5 sodium over here and 1 sodium over here, which makes it 6 sodium on the product side. So I will place 6 over here. जी ये बात clear है? Yes, is it clear to everyone? Okay, now look at oxygen. Here I have a 6 oxygen atoms, and here I have a 3 oxygen atom. So if I will put 3 over here, which gives me 3 oxygen atom over here. So in total, I have a 6 oxygen atoms on the product side. So now the oxygen are also balanced. And if we look at the hydrogens on the reactant side, we have a 6 hydrogen atoms over here. And by putting the 3, we will have a 6 hydrogen atoms on the product side as well. So now both the equations are balanced. Is it clear to everyone? Okay. Now, they have given us the volume of sodium hydroxide, and they have given us the concentration of sodium hydroxide. So we can easily find the moles of sodium hydroxide by multiplying the concentration by volume. We have to divide it by 1000 to convert the volume into dm cube. So I think the moles will be zero point 0.6. Can anybody confirm? Okay. So now we got the number of moles of sodium hydroxide, zero point 0.6. So if you will look over here, you will find the ratio of sodium hydroxide is to sodium chloride in the equation that it is 6 is to 5, right? So if there are zero point 0.6 moles of sodium hydroxide are used, it means zero point 0.5 moles of sodium chloride must be formed. So on the basis of that, we can easily conclude that our correct answer is B. Now, is this understandable to everyone? Yes, Tisha, very good. How it is 1 is to 2? You have to take the ratio between sodium hydroxide, because they have given you the amount of sodium hydroxide and they are asking about sodium chloride. So we have a 6 and 5. So how it can be 1 is to 2, Shazre? The ratio must be 6 is to 5 only. Yes, is it clear to everyone? So we got the answer. Our correct answer is B. Okay. Now question number 24. The product of the contact process is Z. And we know what Z can be. It must be a sulfuric acid, right? Because in contact process, we will produce sulfuric acid only. Which reaction or processes leads to the formation of a gas that can neutralize an aqueous solution of Z? So it means that gas must be alkaline. Is this understandable? No, sorry. Sorry, 1 minute. It's a contact process. I was thinking about the uh, you know uh no, it's a contact process. Okay. I'm mixing just contact process and Haber process. So we have a sulfuric acid over here, and that gas must be an alkali. So this point is clear to everyone? Yes, is this point is clear to everyone? Okay. So if we talk about the atmospheric lightning, in atmospheric lightning, if you recall, nitrogen reacts with oxygen in atmospheric lightning to form NO, and NO is an acidic gas. So it cannot react with Z. So A is incorrect because Z is an acid. So this gas must be an alkaline or basic. Is this understandable to everyone? Combustion of fuel in internal combustion engine. So the normal products are carbon dioxide, water, sulfur dioxide, right? So these all are acidic as well. So B goes wrong. Haber process. Yes, Alicia, very good. In Haber process, nitrogen reacts with the hydrogen to form ammonia, and ammonia is alkaline. So it reacts with Z because Z is an acid. So C option is correct, and it means D goes wrong, and we will mark C as our correct answer. जी सबको clear है? Okay. Okay, now question number 25. When ammonia is dissolved in water, a small concentration of ammonium ions is formed. Okay. Why small concentration? So if you recall, it's a weak alkali. So when it dissolved in water, it dissociates by reacting with water and establishes a equilibrium. That's why they are saying a small amount is formed, because only a few molecules ionizes to form ammonium ion and hydroxide ion. And that's why we put a reversible arrow in the middle. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, if we talk about the thermal decomposition in question number 24, Ibrahim. So thermal decomposition of group 2 nitrates. So when it's a thermal decomposition of group 2 nitrates, we will get a metal oxide, right? We will get a nitrogen dioxide and oxygen, half mole of oxygen and 2 moles of nitrogen dioxide, and nitrogen dioxide is also an acidic gas, so that's why. And Z is acid, so the gas that formed must be a base. Okay, now which row is correct? Number of electrons in ammonium ion. So if you make a formula of ammonium ion, so in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In ammonium ion, nitrogen makes 3 covalent bonds and 1 dative bond. But these are the valence shell electrons, and they didn't mention the valence electrons. So if we talk about nitrogen, nitrogen have 7 electrons. There are 2 hydrogen atoms, which, sorry, there are 3 hydrogen atoms, each have 1 electron, and there is a 1 hydrogen ion in ammonium ion, which have no electron. So in total, we have a 10 electrons. So we have a 10 electrons, which means A option is wrong and B option is wrong. Is this clear to everyone? Okay, Hamna. Beta, Munir, ammonium is an ion, and in that ion we have a 1 hydrogen ion, which means that it have a no electron. 3 hydrogen atoms, each have a 1 electron, which means 3 electrons, and 1 nitrogen atom, which have a 7 electrons. So in total, we have a 10 electrons. So that's why I marked A and B wrong. Now, in the next part, they are asking change of H and H angle from ammonia to ammonium. Yes, Hamna, very good. Your answer is correct. If we talk about ammonia, NH3, it's a trigonal pyramidal. The bond angle is 107 degrees. In ammonium ion, it's a tetrahedral. The bond angle is 109.5 degrees. So C goes wrong, and we are left with the D. So D is our correct answer. Is this clear to everyone? Yes, if anybody have doubt, kindly ask. Taha, which part you didn't able to understand? If you look at ammonia, ammonia have a this shape only and one lone pair, due to which bond angle is 107 degrees over here. It's a trigonal pyramidal. But when we talk about ammonium, ammonium have a one dative bond and three covalent bond. There is a no lone pair. That's why over here in this case, the bond angle increases to 2.5 degrees and it becomes 109.5 degree. Now is it clear, Taha? Okay, now question number 26. In this question, see now from question number 26 till question number 40, the last 15 questions are from organic only. Alkenes and cyclic alkanes should be considered. And if you recall, both are functional group isomers. Why? Because both have a same molecular, same general formula, that is CnH2n. How many structural isomers of C4H8 are there? And C4H8, so I can make a butanene like this, right? Then if I make this structure and put a double bond over here, it's a butene, a second isomer. And if I make three carbons and the fourth carbon as a branch, and then I put a double bond, then it is 2-methyl prop 1-ene, a third isomer. सबको समझ में आ रहा है यहाँ तक? Okay. Now, if we when we move to cycloalkane, there are two possible structures. One is cyclobutane and one is methyl cyclopropane. So in total, if you will work on all of these five, you will find that all of these have a same molecular formula C4H8 because they all have a same general formula CnH2n. Is this understandable to everyone? So how many isomers we got? 5. So it means C is our correct answer. Yes, is this clear? Okay, Ibrahim, have a look. If I make 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons and connect the fourth carbon with the first one, then each carbon have a 2 hydrogens, right? Because each carbon have a 2 bonds with the carbon only. And send me the message on the co-host right here, n- not on the host. Okay. Now have a look. If you have a 3 carbons in a cyclic form, in a cyclic structure, and the fourth carbon is connected to any one of them, then you have a this structure. This carbon have a 3 hydrogens. This carbon have only 1 hydrogen. This carbon have a 2 hydrogens. And this carbon have a 2 hydrogens. Now, if you will find the formula, you will find that all of these are C4H8. So there are 5 structural isomers of C4H8. The last one is methyl cyclopropane. Okay, now, which compound will decolorize bromine? So if you recall, bromine is decolorized by only a compound having a carbon-carbon double bond. So if you see, there is no double bond over here because in the middle carbons, there are 2 hydrogens attached. There is no double bond over here. So A and B goes wrong. Now, if you look over here, you have a CH and CH, which means that there must be a double bond over here and there is no double bond over here in D. So D also goes wrong and the C is the correct answer. Yes, Tisha and Hamna, very good. जी यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको? Okay. Question number 28. Alkenes react with aqueous hydrogen bromide. The reaction proceeds via an intermediate carbocation. The more stable the intermediate, the faster the reaction. They have given you this information that if the intermediate carbocation is more stable, then the reaction will be more faster. Is this understandable? Okay. Which sequence correctly shows an increase in the speed of reaction of the alkenes with hydrogen bromide? Okay, let's have a look. If I talk about ethene, ethene is a carbon-carbon single bond having 2 hydrogens on each carbon, right? So here the carbocation I will be a primary because a carbon have a 2 hydrogens with it. Now, if we talk about propene, propene is CH3, then CH, then double bond CH2. So in case of propene, if this double bond is removed from here, a hydrogen will be bonded to this and this carbon become a positively charged ion, which means this is the intermediate. And here, if you look, this carbon is bonded to 1 hydrogen only. And on both the sides, there are 2 carbons, which makes it a secondary carbocation. Is this understandable? Okay. Then we have a 2-methyl propene. So We have a first carbon CH3, a second carbon with a double bond, and this carbon have a methyl group. That's why we call it 2-methyl propene. Now, if you look, when the reaction takes place and the intermediate will form, the hydrogen will bond to this carbon, and this middle carbon become a positively charged ion. And this carbon is not bonded to hydrogen, but bonded to 3 carbon atoms, which means it's a tertiary one. And if you recall, primary is least stable. Primary carbocation, secondary carbocation is more stable than the primary one, and tertiary is more stable, even more stable than the secondary one. So it means our A option is correct. Very good, Tisha. जी ये सबको क्लियर है? तो अगर आप बी देखें कि बी रॉन्ग क्यों है, क्योंकि इसमें पहला वाला टर्शरी बनेगा जो कि मोस्ट स्टेबल है, और फिर ये लीस्ट स्टेबल है, प्राइमरी बनेगा, और फिर ये सेकेंडरी बनेगा जिसकी स्टेबिलिटी इंटरमीडिएट है। तो उन्होंने बोला इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर, तो इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर हमें ए में ही मिल रहा है, तो इसी वजह से बी, ई और डी रॉन्ग हो जाएंगे। SN1 and SN2 rule is for halogeноalkanes. It's not a alkyl halide, it's a alkene. So alkene में SN1 SN2 rule follow नहीं होता, वो तो हम हेलोजिनो में देखते हैं। Now question number 29. A reaction occurs when a sample of 1 chloropropane is heated under reflux with sodium hydroxide dissolved in ethanol. And if it is dissolved in ethanol, then it means it's a elimination reaction. And whenever elimination takes place, that it must be converted into alkene, and here it is a propane, which means I am going to get a propene over here as a product. So this makes A option and C option wrong. Is this clear to everyone? Yes, very good, Hassan and Tisha. So and D also goes wrong because in D they are saying that type of reaction is substitution. So we are left with the B. So B is our correct answer. जी क्लियर है सबको? Okay, now question number 30. The diagram shows the structure of 3 halogenoalkanes. Okay. P, Q, and R can be hydrolyzed. Which row is correct? Okay. So they are talking about the mechanism of P and Q, and they are talking about the relative rate of Q and R. So if you recall, okay, very good, Tisha. Carbon bromine bond is stronger. No, sorry, is weaker than carbon chlorine bond. So if this bond is stronger, then it means it reacts slowly and it reacts faster. So on the basis of that, we can conclude Q reacts faster, and that makes me to mark C and D as a wrong option. Is this clear to everyone? Yes, very good, Ibrahim. Now, if you look at P, P is tertiary. And if P is tertiary, then it will form carbocation first, and then a nucleophile will attack, which means it will undergo SN1 mechanism. And here in B part, they are saying P undergoes with SN2 mechanism, which makes me to mark B wrong as well. So I am left with the A. So A is my correct answer. Is this understandable to everyone? Okay. Now question number 31. A sample of 2.30 gram of ethanol is mixed with an excess of aqueous acidified potassium dichromate. Okay. If you recall about dichromate, it's an oxidizing agent, right? The mixture is boiled under reflux for 1 hour. And if it's boiled under reflux, it means that, okay, let me recall you ethanol, a primary alcohol. So it will undergo complete oxidation. And if it's a complete oxidation, then the product will be a carboxylic acid. So I'm going to get ethanoic acid from ethanol. Is this understandable to everyone? जी ये पॉइंट यहाँ तक क्लियर है? Okay. The required organic product is then collected by distillation. The yield of product is 60%. Which mass of product is collected? Now, see how you will attempt it. The reactant is ethanol, C2H5OH, and the product is ethanoic acid, CH3CO2H. Is this clear? Hamna, see, they are saying that we collected the product by distillation, but for the reaction, they will do what they will do. They will heat under reflux or boiled under reflux. They are not saying that the reaction mixture is heated and distilled off. Okay. Uh, Let me check by both ways. And if it's an aldehyde, then it must be CH3CHO, right? So what is the MR of ethanol? There are two carbons, which makes it 24, one oxygen, which is 16. So 24 plus 16, 40, and 40 plus 6 hydrogens, 46, right? What is the MR of ethanoic acid? Two carbons make it 4. And then two oxygens, 32. So 24 and 32, 56, 56 plus 4 hydrogen makes it 60 for carboxylic acid. But when I go for an aldehyde, there are two carbons, 24, one oxygen, 16, 24 plus 16, 40, 40 plus 4 hydrogens. 44 grams, right? Okay. So if it is 2.30, then the mass of ethanoic acid produced must be X over here. And let's assume the mass of aldehyde produced over here is Y. Can anybody tell me the value of X and Y if you relate this? Then what will be the value of X? And if you relate these two, then what will be the value of Y? Okay, X is 3. And what about Y? Y is 2.2. Okay. Now, they have said that the yield of the product is 60%. Now, for aldehyde, take out the 60% of this by doing this, and 60% of this by doing this. So can anybody tell me the answers for Y, 60% of Y and 60% of X? Yes, for X it is 1.8 and for Y it is 1.32. Now if you see, here you are observing 1.32 and here you are observing 1.8 as well. But as I have told earlier, they said that distillation is not used in the reaction, it is used for the collection. But during the reaction, they have used the condition boiling under reflux, which means ethanoic acid will form. And according to that, C is your correct answer. No, we will start specimen paper tomorrow only. Yes, Taha, it's a tricky question. See, they didn't see that during for a reaction they use distillation. For a reaction they use heat under reflux for a 1 hour. So if you are doing using just a 2.3 grams of ethanol and you are heating under reflux, it's for 1 hour. So how could you get an aldehyde which is an intermediate product? Are you getting my point? जी ये बात सबको समझ में आ रही है? हाँ, अगर उन्होंने ये बात की होती कि the mixture is heated and distilled, then we are for sure that it is an aldehyde. But they said that you are boiling the mixture under reflux conditions for 1 hour. So if it is boiling under reflux or heating under reflux for in 1 hour and it's just a 2.30 gram of ethanol, so it means that the complete oxidation is taking place, not the incomplete. Yes, Taha, is it clear? Okay. And both are organic compounds, whether it's an aldehyde or ethanoic acid. So you have to understand the question, and if you don't, you will lose marks. Okay, now question number 32. The structure of tartaric acid is shown. Okay, 4 moles of substance X reacts with a 1 mole of tartaric acid. Okay, so I think that X must be a sodium, because if you see, this is and this part, they both are carboxylic acids, right? I'm just writing the acid And these two parts which I am underlining are alcohols. So sodium reacts with the alcohol as well as carboxylic acid, right? So if I use sodium, so what will happen that with either with alcohol or carboxylic acid, the hydrogens are replaced by sodium. So see, we need 4 moles of sodium. So I think the correct answer is sodium only, which is A. Is this understandable to everyone? जी ये पॉइंट क्लियर है सबको? Okay. Question number 33. Which compound gives both an orange precipitate with 2,4-DNPH reagent? Ibrahim, sodium hydroxide reacts with, okay, let me give you a summary over here. Carboxylic acid and alcohol. So sodium reacts with carboxylic acid and alcohol both. Sodium carbonate reacts with carboxylic acid but not with alcohol. Sodium hydrogen carbonate reacts with carboxylic acid but not with alcohol. Sodium hydroxide reacts with carboxylic acid but not with alcohol. So that will form a hydrogen gas over here, but they are talking about the reactant. So I will just wrote the reactant to make you understand that in this case I need a 4 moles because it reacts with the carboxylic acid and alcohol both, and we have a 2 alcohols group and 2 carboxylic acid. Is this clear to everyone? Now question number 33. Which compound gives both an orange precipitate with 2,4-DNPH reagent, and if you recall, it can be an aldehyde or ketone, right? And a yellow precipitate with alkaline iodine. So when if it's an aldehyde or ketone, then it must have a carbonyl carbon adjacent to the terminal carbon in this case. Yes, in case of aldehyde, only ethanol. So here we have a ethanol. Okay, now here we can also make one table as well. 2,4-DNPH and alkaline iodine with ethanol, methanol, propanol, propanon. Okay. Ethanol cannot react with 2,4-DNPH, but ethanol will give you alkaline iodine test. But they are asking about the one which gives both. Okay, Taha, Hamna, Tisha, Safiullah, your answer is correct. Very good. If we talk about methanol, methanol can give you this test, but not this. If we talk about propanol, propanol can give you this test, but not this. And if we talk about propanon, propanon will give us both the tests. So it means D is our correct answer. Is it clear to everyone? Yes, if anybody have any doubt, kindly ask. Okay. Question number 34. A student suggests two uses of lithium aluminum hydride, and if you recall, it's a reducing agent. Here, it is reducing an alkene into an alkane. I didn't understand, Ibrahim, what you are saying. जी वो एल्डिहाइड है, बट देखें मैंने आपको ये बात आपको बताई कि जो है ये ग्रुप होना जरूरी है इस टेस्ट के लिए। अगर मैं मेथनल की बात करूं तो मेथनल इज दिस स्ट्रक्चर, तो वो वाला ग्रुप तो प्रेजेंट नहीं है। अगर मैं प्रोपेनल की बात करूं तो प्रोपेनल में CH3, देन वी हैव अ CH2 एंड देन वी हैव अ C डबल बॉन्ड O। तो वो जो ग्रुप मैंने ऊपर मार्क किया है वो मेथनल और प्रोपेनल दोनों में नहीं है, तो इसलिए ये दोनों नहीं हो सकते। तो करेक्ट आंसर आपका डी होगा, प्रोपानॉन। अगर मैं प्रोपानॉन बनाऊं तो प्रोपानॉन इज CH3, C डबल बॉन्ड O, CH3। So see, this group is present in propanol. ठीक है। Okay, now, so an alkene is converting into an alkane by a reducing agent, and in reaction to ethanoic acid is reducing into ethanol. And let me tell you, this reducing agent can reduce carboxylic acid into alcohol, but not alkene into alkane. So which reaction gives the product? So in actual, it is our correct answer. In reaction 2, we will get a product. In reaction 1, we will not get a product. Yes, Tisha and Taha, very good. Your answers are correct. Question number 35. Compound X contains a single ester group. Compound X contains 27.6% by mass of oxygen. Which pair of products could be produced by the hydrolysis of X? Okay. This question, I think it take a little time. Let's try the first option. Here, what we are getting, ethanoic acid and butanol. So if we will form an ester, then that ester will be, if I talk about ethanoic acid must be CH3, C double bond O and OH. And we have a butane one also. It means when we talk about ester, that hydrogen is removed, and here we get a alkyl having a 4 carbon atom. So it will be the ester that is hydrolyzed to give us butane one all and ethanoic acid. ये part clear है सबको? इसमें कोई confusion है तो बता दीजिए। जी ये पॉइंट यहां तक क्लियर है सबको? तो अब अगर मैं इसका मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला बनाऊं तो क्या बनेगा? C6H12O2। काउंट कर लीजिए कार्बन और हाइड्रोजन। जी, यहाँ तक किसी को कोई कंफ्यूजन है तो प्लीज पूछिए। ओके, अब इन्होंने हमें बता दिया कि इसमें ऑक्सीजन की परसेंटेज कितनी होगी, 27.6। तो अगर मैं परसेंटेज ऑफ ऑक्सीजन यहाँ पे फाइंड करूं तो कितने ऑक्सीजन है, 2 ऑक्सीजन है, तो उनका मास 32 हो जाएगा। अगर मैं एमआर कैलकुलेट करूं तो 12 टाइम्स 6 गिव्स मी 72, 72 प्लस 12 gives me it will be like this, 72 plus 12, 72 plus 12, and then 16. Oh, sorry, 2 oxygen atoms are there, so it will be 32. Just give me a minute, please. Assalamu alaikum. So what will be the MR over here? 116. So you are saying that the answer is 27.58, but you are using 4 significant figures, and here there are 3 significant figures. So if I use 3 significants over here, I will get 27.6% only. So it means our A option is correct. And in the same way, if you want to check B, C, and D, you can easily check and you will find that they are incorrect. जी, ये clear है सबको? Okay, now question number 36. What is the least number of carbon atoms in a non-cyclic alkane molecule that has a chiral center? Okay, you have to work on it, the structure which is non-cyclic and which have a chiral center and which must have a least carbon atom. So start with the least one, that is the 7. So work on it. If we will able to find, make a chiral structure with the 7 carbon atoms, and if we can make, so it means it's a correct answer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So what if I will place a hydrogen over here? Now how many carbons are left? 3 carbons. Okay, Sana, let me try. So if I will mark 1 carbon over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms, a 6th carbon over here, and a 7th carbon over here. So see, this carbon is a chiral one because that is the one group, that is the second group, which must be a CH3. And here we have a 2 carbon atoms, which means here I have a C2H5. And here we have a 3 carbon atoms, which means here we have a C3H7. So second group and third group, sorry, fourth group. So there are 4 different groups. So it means A is our correct answer because all the other options have a more than 7 carbon atoms. So obviously they have a uh, chiral carbon as well. Is it clear to everyone? A molecule of a polymer contains the sequence shown. Okay. Which monomer could produce this polymer by addition polymerization? So if you separate a repeat units, so see that in each repeat unit we have a two carbon atoms, and if I am going to make a monomer, that monomer have a double bond, right? And out of these two carbon atoms, one carbon have a two hydrogens, and the other carbon have a one hydrogen and one chlorine, right? Is this understandable? Yes, Ibrahim and Tisha, your answer are correct. So that is only the case which is B. So B is our correct answer. जी यहाँ तक clear है सबको? Okay, now question number 38. Compound Y is heated with the mild oxidizing agent. One of the product of the reaction reacts with hydrogen cyanide forming 2-hydroxybutyl butane nitrile. Okay, so the final product they are telling us is butane nitrile and having a 2-hydroxy. So it means 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a first carbon which have a nitrogen on it. On on a second carbon we are getting a OH, right? So it means, okay, so this the remaining part remains same, so it means it must be C2H5 CHOHCCN. So, and they said that it is formed when the oxidation product reacts with hydrogen cyanide. So if you recall, hydrogen with a hydrogen cyanide, only aldehyde and ketone will react. So what I am going to do, I will going to remove this and this from this structure. So I'm going to get the product, the intermediate product, the oxidation product. So it will be this only, and a mild oxidizing agent, which we are getting the aldehyde. And if we are getting the aldehyde, it means that the our reactant is a primary alcohol, which could be C2H5, CH2OH. So see how many carbons it have? Three carbon. So and OH is on the terminal carbon, which means it is propane one all. So C is your correct answer. जी, ये clear है सबको? Okay. Now question number 39. The diagram shows the structure of lycopene and beta carotene. So here we have our two structures. When lycopene is converted into beta carotene, what is the gain or loss of hydrogen atoms per molecule? Okay. If you see, you are going to observe a change at this position and at that this position. And what is the change? That there is a no bond, and then in beta carotene there is a bond over here. So can anybody identify what will be the answer? Okay, Hamna says B, Hassan says A. अच्छा, अब जरा मेरी बात गौर से सुनिएगा। एक मिनट दें मुझे। कि यहाँ पे बेसिकली क्या है, CH है और यहाँ पे C है और यहाँ पे भी CH है। ये बात समझ में आ रही है सबको? यस हसन एंड हलीमा, योर आंसर्स आर करेक्ट नाउ। ये जो मैंने बनाया स्ट्रक्चर जो आप लोगों को बताया, ये समझ में आ रहा है यहाँ पे कि बेसिकली जो ये वाला कार्बन है इस पे कोई हाइड्रोजन नहीं है, इस वाले कार्बन पे एक हाइड्रोजन है और इस वाले कार्बन पे भी एक हाइड्रोजन है। ये पॉइंट क्लियर है सबको? अब अगर यहाँ पे देखें तो इस कार्बन के 4 बॉन्ड्स हैं, तो यहाँ पे जो कार्बन होगा उस पे कोई हाइड्रोजन नहीं होगा। इस कार्बन के भी 4 बॉन्ड्स हैं, तो इस पे भी जो कार्बन होगा उस पे कोई हाइड्रोजन नहीं होगा। और इस कार्बन के 2 बॉन्ड्स हैं, तो इस कार्बन के पास 2 हाइड्रोजन होंगे। ये बात समझ में आ रही है? तो अगर देखें तो इन टोटल पहले भी यहाँ पे 2 हाइड्रोजन थे और अब भी 2 हाइड्रोजन है। तो आंसर क्या होना चाहिए? इसका मतलब है आपका करेक्ट आंसर होना चाहिए सी, कि कोई हाइड्रोजन लॉस और गेन नहीं हो रहे, सिर्फ उनकी पोजीशन शिफ्ट हुई है। इज इट अंडरस्टैंडेबल टू एवरीवन? जी, यहां तक क्लियर है सबको? ओके, नाउ क्वेश्चन नंबर 40। Which diagram shows the infrared spectrum of a compound that contains both C double bond O and an OH group? देखें, OH ग्रुप की मैं आप लोगों को बहुत बार बता चुका हूं कि हमारे पास 2500 से 3000 अबव की रेंज में एक ब्रॉड पीक आती है। यस तीशा, योर आंसर इज रॉन्ग। या योर आंसर इज रॉन्ग this time. So I will mark A and C wrong because there is a no peak of OH. Because OH, the peak of OH, you will be going to observe over here and over here, but there is no peak over here. So A and C is wrong. Yes, Munir. Yes, Ibrahim. And yes, Tisha. Now your answers are correct. If you see, this peak is of OH, but in this C double bond O is missing. And why I'm saying that it's missing, if you look in the data booklet, from 1600 to 1800, in this region, you are going to observe a peak like this, which is over here. So I will mark D wrong as well. So my correct answer will be B, because this peak is representing a C double bond O and this peak is representing a OH. Yes, Halima, very good. Yes, Hassan, very good. Yes, Munir, good. Ibrahim, good. So is it understandable to everyone? Okay. So we have completed the February, March 2022 paper, which is of a same pattern you are going to appear. Yes, okay. Now, from tomorrow, I'm going to start a specimen paper. Okay. So see you all of you tomorrow at 11 p.m. Okay. Take care, everyone. Allah Hafiz.